Hi, I'm Den Lenny. I'm a DP, producer, and very occasionally a direct as well. We've just wrapped 2 weeks filming in Japan for Sony's PXW FS7 camcorder. We've been making the launch films.
My name is James Tonkin. I'm a director and a DP.
Let's just talk a little bit about what this camera does and doesn't do. It's a Super 35mm sensor. It's a 4K sensor. It shoots up to 180 frames a second in HD and 60 frames a second in 4K. Using XAVC codec, it's a 10-bit 422 intra-frame codec, which will give you the full 10-bit 422. That's huge. A lot of FS700 users were really hoping for a 10-bit upgrade.
Of course, it's possible to shoot with a normal profile on the camera, but the real reason and benefit for sticking to S-Log3 is to get those full 14 stops of dynamic range. And the points in this film where we've chosen scenes specifically to show these 14 stops. We've chosen scenes where you'll be having a tracking shot inside and looking straight out of a window while also maintaining the filament of a lamp that's also in the scene. And these shots were designed because we knew we wanted to show this feature. We wanted to really put across just how wide this 14 stops of dynamic range is. And for people to appreciate that we're keeping the filament of the light in exposure while also being able to see out of a window.
To be able to make this film was a great treat because we got to make 2 films, a documentary style film and a 4K, more high-end if you like, more considered fashion and commercial feel production.
Working on the HD film, we picked the narrative of following how a kimono is painted in a factory. And the important thing was to be able to work very quickly around the process. Because we were working in a documentary format, we couldn't tell people to stop and to redo things. We had to work around them. So the important thing is being very fast and agile and being able to reposition quickly and work just as you would when you're filming any other documentary. A lot of the time you don't have the ability to extensively light what you're working on. This meant that there are only a few occasions where we could bring in lights, but a majority of the time we were really trying to work with a combination of the available practical light in the room and also just the small amount of light we could add.
This camera does amazing 1080p. It's beautiful. And also it records 4K internally, and that's the thing that I think gives us the edge with this camcorder, is the ability to record on the XQD cards, 4K internal and 1080p. So there's really no reason why you can't acquire 4K and create a 1080p master.
When Den and I thought close about the sort of narrative format we should use for the FS7 film, we really wanted to get across something which would allow the viewer to watch every frame and study every frame in close detail. And one of the great functions this camera has is the ability to record 60 frames a second in 4K. And immediately for me, this was a function that sprung off the page and was something I wanted to fully utilize in making the film. Because we decided to shoot the film using the full 4K resolution of the camera, and one of the most important aspects of working in 4K is considering how you move the camera and how you use 4K to really immerse the viewer in the viewing experience. The shot we designed to open the film really was a perfect application for me of using 4K to bring you into the story, because if we do a slow creep on a long slider in through the garden towards the house where the whole story is about to take place, then it really brings you slowly into the story. It's a very slow creep. Watching this move on a 65 or an 85-inch screen really immerses you in a way that I think even 3D doesn't. I think this is a better use of a technology to bring you into a story, and the detail that you see I find staggering when you watch it in 4K.
I think the one thing about this FS7 camera that just made me smile was the moment I saw it. It looks like an Aton film camera. Somewhere, someone in product planning and design has listened to a filmmaker. That camera design has to have come from a filmmaker because it feels like you're wearing an Aton on your shoulder. You put that Zeiss 2 lens on the front or some small primes, and you feel very, very mobile and very, very nimble. And it's very exciting. And the fact that you can now shoot 4K and 1080p, have full audio connectivity, just goes to show how far we've come in 5 years since the birth of DSLR filmmaking.
These are amazing projects to work on. I always feel very privileged when I get a call to come in and often at the last minute step in and work on a project like this. I think the thing which makes it so fun is the collaborative element of working with trusted people who have worked with for years and years, and bringing that small team together again in terms of producer, composer, and putting the whole element of storytelling all into one succinct film which encompasses the audio and the visual part of it. We often don't get a lot of time to schedule things, and we're all very busy on our other day jobs. So to be able to find a window where we can get to collaborate on projects like this is invaluable, and it's a lot of fun.